Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show. Coming from right here in my quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea, and Wednesdays are always fun because I got two incredible guys with me. First of all, coming to me from the Robservatory is one writer, director, producer, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing quite well. I want to correct something John pointed out that I said yesterday. I was seeing Spider-Man Brand New Day today. I meant I was seeing it tomorrow.
Right. Though, am lucky enough that I am going to see it later tonight. Actually, as soon as we're done the show here, Ann and I are going to go grab something to eat, meet up with a couple of friends, and we're going to go watch Spider-Man. I'm excited about. But, I'm not seeing it. I'm not going to be the first person on this show today to see it because Sean Chandler is here, and he's already seen it. And you gave your review. You liked the film.
I did. I enjoyed it, and in particular because it's New York City-centric, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and that's what I wanted from this movie. And I also love The Punisher, so that was a lot of fun.
By the way, did you guys see an interesting thing happen? So normally what happens when reviews drop for a movie, like they'll start at a certain number, and then over the first day or so, they'll drop a couple of percentage points. Like if it comes out at 82, maybe it'll settle in at 79 or something like that. Spider-Man Brand New Day did the opposite. It debuted at 88 and 89% yesterday, and as of today, it's 91. So it's actually gone up after a bunch, which is interesting. And we'll talk some Spider-Man a little bit later with its box office stuff, but we do have a bunch of stuff to talk about here today. And here's how our show's going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a bunch of great topics we got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show is when I take your live comments and questions. If you're watching the show live, and you got to be watching live, you can use the super chat feature to send in a thought, comment, question, or an issue that you'd like me to address. And as long as I deem it appropriate to be addressed on the show, we'll talk about it in the second part of the show. All right, guys. With that all down, let's get things kicked off with this. I really enjoyed the Jumanji movies. I like them. I really loved the first one. The first one was such a pleasant surprise to me, and it was one of those movies that I didn't think actually looked very good, but I went into it and I was absolutely thrilled with it. The second Jumanji they did was still quite good. Like I was entertained by it. I thought it was a bit of a step down from the first one, but still entertaining. I still liked it. And so I've been looking forward to the third Jumanji movie. Now, back at CinemaCon, they showed us a presentation for it back in April, and it looked really quite good. So today, the full trailer came out. And I think the first half of it is fantastic. And then the second half of it just makes me put my hands up and go, what are we doing? What are we doing? And I'll tell you why. Because the first half of this trailer for Jumanji Open World, I think is terrific because they did exactly what they needed to do. Change it. Like we already did in the first two movies. Oh no, we're sucked into the video game world and what? I have boobs. What? I have muscles. Like we've done that twice and pretty good. And the presentation they gave us at CinemaCon was very much about we're totally changing the game. You remember this, Rob. We're totally changing the game. It's now the video game characters are coming into the real world. Total change of pace, and I thought it looked great. So this trailer comes out, and the first half of the trailer is exactly what I was, expecting. Like, I love the line when The Rock is sitting there. It is probably because of my charisma. I laughed my ass off. I thought that was a hilarious line. And I thought, yes, this is what to do. And that shot, guys, when they're like, the video game characters are running down the street. It's like, why are they running? I'm like, this is great. It's changing the perspective. And that's what they showed us at CinemaCon, was all that kind of stuff. But then the second half of the trailer got here. And it was all back to the same, oh, I have no hair. Wait a minute. Why am I so short? Like, oh God, guy, they've already done this twice. It's not that we've already done it once, it's we've already done this twice. And I went from being very intrigued and kind of excited about seeing this movie in a split second to be, I don't even know. I'll be honest, guys. I don't even know if I'm going to go watch it. I don't even know if I'm going to go watch it now, because what are we doing? Like, you had the right idea, make it totally flip it on its head, look at it from the totally opposite point of view. But then what you tell us in this trailer is that we're just going right back to the same old, except now it's different people inhabiting The Rock's giant body and different people inhabiting, the Kevin Hart's short body. What was the point? So maybe I'm being overly pessimistic about it. Maybe I am, because all they showed us at CinemaCon was all this stuff about the video game characters being in the real world. And then to see this trailer is, no, where they ultimately head is just back to the same thing they've done. And I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of over it. Now, I'm not saying the movie won't be great. Maybe it'll be the best of the three. I hope it is. We're just talking about the trailer. And I got to be honest, this trailer actually made me lose interest in the movie. Despite the fact that the first half of it's great, seeing where they go made me personally lose interest in the movie. Rob, there's still some very good stuff in the trailer. And I can see that if you're somebody that really loved what they gave us in the first two movies, maybe this other stuff will still be appealing here. You saw the trailer. What did you think about it?
Well, having seen it, at CinemaCon, and obviously they trotted out all the main characters, the stars, and that was a lot of fun, as it is at CinemaCon. But I agree with you. I mean, I thought this idea, there's a lot of this going around, bringing computer people into the real world. For whatever reason, that's a zeitgeist thing that's happening. It happened in Tron Ares, and it's happening in this. And I thought, okay, there's enough comedy to be mined there. That's a new situation. And like you, I found this trailer to be, I'm like, why didn't you just show what you showed? I mean, the audience was buzzing after that trailer. And
yeah, they really loved it.
It got a rousing, round of applause, and everyone was laughing. And I mean, don't play out unless you're riffing on, like, if it's the third movie of a franchise and you're going to riff on something that happened in the first movie, that could be funny in a trailer or in the film itself. But if you're not leaning into your new premise and you're just telling tired jokes we've seen maybe already twice before, what are you doing? I don't know. I mean, I hope the movie's going to be good. I'm going to go by what they showed us at CinemaCon and not this trailer. I'm still going to, I want to go see it just because I need to be a Jumanji completist, John.
And listen, to be
Sean,
fair,
I need my Jumanji completeness needs to stand.
To be fair, it is possible. I don't want to write off the possibility that what the second part of the trailer may only be the last 15 minutes of the movie, for all we know, right? Like, we don't know. Remember, I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about the trailer. And what do you mean? Sean, you have the advantage that you weren't at CinemaCon. So this trailer for you, you're looking at this trailer with fresh eyes. So I'm really curious, what was your impression of the Jumanji 3 trailer?
Yeah, so Jumanji's huge in the Chandler household. We actually sometimes on New Year's, we watch Jumanji right before New Year's and time it so that right at midnight, they scream Jumanji at the end of the film. Like, that's what we do in our household. So naturally, we're just very excited for a new Jumanji movie coming out. And the idea that they're having the characters come into the real world, that goes back to what they did in the original book. That goes back to what was in the 1995 film. So it seemed like the obvious place to go, but the right place to go. And I think the trailer captured that, even the fun of our lead characters turning into NPCs and just repeating these same empty lines. Like, it's just, there's something really fun about that. My fear ever since the first movie is that, and even what made the second one not work quite as well for me, is that the appeal of the first movie was very specifically these high school archetypes being put in these adventure archetypes that don't match.
Right.
And each time they're trying to find a new version to do that same thing, but without the movie being developed entirely around that. And so it always feels like a lesser version of it, a copy of a copy. And so when you do the same thing again at the end of this one, it really plays stale and played out in the wrong way. Whereas the first part where we're doing the NPCs and we're in the real world, it's like, right, let's play out the real world side to this. So I was pretty mixed on the trailer, like you guys as well. There's things I went, that's what I want to see. And then other things where it's like, this was all of my biggest fears.
Yeah, and listen, I see a lot of chat going on in the live chat there. The problem with the trailer is not Dwayne Johnson. If anything, he kind of elevated, I think. The problem isn't, Jack Black or Karen Gillan or any of the cast. It's just I don't like the direction it seems to be going. But again, it is just a trailer, and maybe we'll see something a little bit different. Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this? Did you enjoy the Jumanji 3 trailer? I loved the first half of it, but I kind of lost interest because of the second half. Maybe you love the whole thing. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? There are many plights, trials, and tribulations of being a streaming fan, because the once great promise of when the era of streaming comes, it's going to be like 1/10 of the price of cable. And now here we are in the dystopian future where we're paying more for our streaming services than we ever did pay for cable. And it just seems to be getting more expensive as every couple of weeks, it seems that a new streaming service is announcing price increases. Well, maybe a slight reprieve for those of us who enjoy the Peacock, may be coming, as it has been announced, and this is interesting, that Peacock is going to be included with YouTube Premium. And I know a lot of you guys who watch this show have YouTube Premium. It's going to be included with YouTube Premium starting in 2027. This is what the article in the Hollywood Reporter had to say. YouTube appears to be poised to turn its YouTube Premium subscription product into a new bundler of entertainment. On Monday, YouTube and NBC Universal announced a new deal that will see Peacock Premium included with the $15.99 per month YouTube Premium service, beginning early next year, potentially bringing millions of new subscribers and viewers to the service by leveraging YouTube's platform. The deal brings a slew of premium content to the YouTube Premium subscription, including live sports like the NFL, NBA, and Major League Baseball, and entertainment like Law & Order, Saturday Night Live, Love Island. It also has the potential to dramatically scale Peacock, which remains smaller than many of its streaming competitors. Okay, first thing I should mention here is I saw some people online saying, oh, Peacock is merging with YouTube. No, it's not. Peacock is still going to be a standalone service that you can have, like I have, like many of you have. It's where I watch Parks and Rec in The Office. So it's still going to be a standalone service. But for those of us who have YouTube Premium, it's now just going to be included, an ad-supported version. Remember, Peacock Premium still includes ads. There's another tier above that for ad-free. But if you're a YouTube Premium subscriber and now you're going to get Peacock for free, you will also have the option to add in a little bit extra to have no ads if you so desire. Now, as of right now, they're claiming that the cost of YouTube Premium is not going to go up. That this is just going to be put in there. It's going to be quote unquote free if you're already a premium subscriber. And the cost of it isn't going to go up. Now, of course, they always say that. And then 6 months later, a price increase happens. But for now, you can get Peacock with a slew of sports. Again, for me, if there was nothing else, and there are a bunch of things I like on Peacock, but if for nothing else, I would have Peacock just to be able to watch The Office and Parks and Rec whenever I want to. But you're going to be able to have all that, and it's all just going to be included. So if you are a Peacock subscriber, you're going to be able to cancel your subscription if you want, if you also have YouTube Premium. And again, I know many of you guys do. So we've been talking for a long time on this show, and I'm sure, Sean, you've talked about this too, that it seems like we're going to be moving into, and we've already started to move into a bundling era. We now see many people offering plans where you can get HBO and Netflix if you have this. You can have Apple TV and Peacock if you have this, right? The bundling is already starting. This seems to be the next thing in this. I'll be really curious to see if this works out great for Peacock, that all the merger talk aside, to see if maybe at some point Paramount Plus says, you know what, we want to get in on that too. Because it vastly increases the amount of eyeballs on our content. Because, you know, I had a user write to me last night, guys, that said, and I'm sure many people have thought of this, but why can I pay one price for a music subscription service and I can get access to just about every song ever created under Earth? But I have 10 video streaming services that I pay for, and there are still movies I can't find. And it's like, that's becoming a question. And I'm kind of going to watch this YouTube Premium and Peacock thing with great interest, because if it works, and again, they're going to pay for this with the ads, obviously, but if this works, again, could Peacock jump in? Could Apple add in? Could we see a better system for premium subscribers like us? Anyway, Sean, you saw this report. Is this a big bucket of nothing? Are we going to see YouTube kind of go back on the word and double the price of YouTube Premium in a few months here anywhere? Do you even have Peacock, actually? In general, what do you think about this whole idea of theirs?
Well, you already described Peacock the way I describe Peacock, which is the place I go to watch The Office and Parks and Rec. That's the reason I have it. That's what we use it for. And in that regard, those are two incredibly popular shows that are still rewatched. But other than that, Peacock is such small potatoes in the world of streamers. It doesn't really move the needle all that much because it's just not even competing with the others, really. But as to your point of bundling things, the consolidation of streaming services, if this is an indicator of where things are headed, in my mind, that is the big win, as per what you said at the beginning of this, of the nightmare that is, we all have to have 17 streaming services.
Yeah.
And we have apps to try and figure out which streaming service has which thing on it. Like, it's ridiculous how convoluted the whole thing is. And so if this is the start of the consolidation, and maybe it begins with Peacock, the streaming service for 2 TV shows, but that turns into something more, that would be great. And as someone that has YouTube Premium, I'm like, hey, finally a streaming service doing something that is just a value add for me at this point in time. I'm just saving money now. I can cancel my subscription over there and watch this at better value. But so I like the direction of all of this. Do I trust them not to raise the prices? Of course I don't. So we'll see how it all plays out. But I see this and I go, I like the direction, and hopefully this experiment pays off.
I mean, I know for me, it means I can unsubscribe because I'm already got YouTube Premium. I can unsubscribe from that. I will probably pay the couple of extra bucks to not have ads. But I mean, hopefully it works. Rob, in an ideal world, the volume of viewership it gets with the ads is what pays for all of this. But,
Sure.
you know, I think Sean is right. At some point, we all expect at some point YouTube Premium will up their prices. But just philosophically speaking, what do you think of this? Can it work? And do you think it can grow into something else?
Well, I think it's like Sean said. I mean, ultimately, I think it's exciting. You know, I think you're getting more for your buck, and frankly, I'm getting tired of how many. I mean, I had to resubscribe to Paramount Plus to actually watch a TV show that I hate. So, I mean, and y'all know what that is. But the thing is, I look at how many subscriptions I'm paying for. It's ridiculous. I mean, if you include various programs I'm using, like storyboarded AI, the transcription program that I use, which is like $20 a month, plus all my streaming things. I mean, I must pay $300 in subscriptions a month. And it just seems to get more and more and more. And anytime somebody's going to combine something together, I mean, YouTube TV too is not cheap. So
No,
I mean,
I got to cancel it. To be honest, I got to cancel it.
I know. I'm like, my God, every time I forget, I think about canceling. I'm like, there's another $80 or whatever to 72. And, you know, you look at it and you think, oh, my God. And really what this is teaching me is I need to go touch some more grass. You know, and get away from the screens, man. But
Sean,
I do think ultimately this is a good thing.
Let me throw this to you, Sean, first, and then over to you, Rob. The notion I kind of brought up of to me, and maybe it's delusions of grandeur and I'm being far too optimistic, but to me, I'm thinking in a hopeful world that if this really works out for Peacock, it's like, oh my God, we've added so much volume to our viewership from this. Could it be something that then entices other streamers? Let's start with a Paramount Plus. Could it be that other streamers will then also jump in on YouTube, which again, YouTube is as a service has more television screen time than any other service in the world on our televisions. So Sean, is this something we could see others jump into realistically, or what would be some of the obstacles to something like that, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I could see it happening with some of the smaller streamers that don't have the big iconic IPs or just the size of a Netflix. And so I think Paramount Plus is one of the ones that is stronger. I guess obviously they're building out a lot of their IPs and have more stuff kind of going on there now than they used to 5 years ago. But if they start kind of building up a catalog of building from the smaller ones to get to the bigger ones, I think you could see something that is a big value add for everyone. It gets way more eyes on their services. It creates a scenario where for that ad model, people are actually checking out these shows because finally they're merged and bundled with something. So I can see a scenario where it starts to build and snowball. I don't see Amazon, Disney Plus, Netflix having any interest in this sort of bundling because they're just so big behemoths on their own, though.
Rob, what about you?
I feel kind of the same way. I mean, if it makes sense to have multiple stream, like, I could see, look, why doesn't Peacock and Paramount Plus combine?
Yeah.
If you had like, obviously Netflix unto itself, HBO unto itself, that I get, but like Sean pointed out, if you had lesser streaming services and you could put 3 or 4 together in one bundle, I don't know how they would work all that out, but I think that would be beneficial to everybody because look, if you could get more bang for your buck, I think there'd be a lot less churn. Because I've really started to come and go on streaming services like Paramount Plus when there's only something that I want, and then I cancel after it's over, after 2 months. But if there was a bundle where there are 3 or 4 streaming services together under one price, I wouldn't cancel so much. I'd pay for the bundle.
Right. Just like Disney Plus and HBO Max has a bundle right now. Like there are a bunch of bundles out there. It's interesting, the idea of putting them into something that I already pay for with YouTube Premium.
More of that, please.
I wonder if the business model, and Sean, I think you're right, but I wonder if there could be a possibility where like one of the bigger streamers, let's say like a Disney Plus, saw an opportunity for their ad-supported tier to say, hey, yeah, there's still Disney Plus and you get Disney Plus on Disney Plus. But if you're okay with the ads, you can also watch Disney Plus content through YouTube Premium, and that'll add money to their coffers. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities here, I think, guys. Whatever you think about this, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. Well, obviously coming out of the surprise smash hit of the year, Obsession, all eyes are on, and I always mispronounce, is it Indy Navarrete or Indy Navarrete? I always get it wrong, I'm sure. But the girl who played Nikki in Obsession, all eyes on her, right? She's probably going to get a Best Actress nomination at the Academy Awards this year, and well deserved. But when I saw Obsession, I saw it late. When I saw Obsession and I talked about it, I said, yes, she deserves all the attention that she is getting, 100%. I said, but this Michael Johnston kid is not getting enough attention for just how good he is in this movie playing Bear. I kind of compared it to the Paul Dano situation in There Will Be Blood, where Paul Dano was remarkable in that movie, but nobody ever talks about him because Daniel Day-Lewis gave what I consider to be probably the greatest performance in film history in that movie. It gets totally overshadowed. And I really believe one of the reasons Obsession works so well is because of Michael Johnston. Well, it looks like we might be seeing him on the big screen again soon, because there's a report going around. This one comes to us from Hollywood Reporter saying Obsession star Michael Johnston in early talks to join The Mummy sequel with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. This is what they write. Say Michael Johnston is circling his first big role following Obsession becoming a box office juggernaut. Johnston is in early talks to join The Mummy, The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed. If the deal makes, he would join Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz, who starred in the late 1990s and 2000s takes on the Universal monster property. Universal had no comment, but the movie would keep Johnston in the Universal family as Obsession is from the studio's specialty label Focus. Scream and Ready or Not filmmakers Radio Silence are directing for an October 15th, 2027 release date. I could not be happier about this. I think this kid is great. Now, granted, I have a small sample size. I haven't seen him much outside of Obsession.
Sure.
But this movie could have felt very unbalanced if Indy was the only one acting her ass off. If it wasn't for his performance across from her, I don't think she would have looked as good. And I don't think the movie would have been as good. I think he anchors the film, Obsession. I think he's absolutely fantastic. I'm not saying he's better than she was. I'm just saying I think he gets woefully overlooked. When it comes to when people talk about this. I thought his performance was absolutely top-notch, and I'm excited to see him in this. And I'll be honest with you guys, am I feeling nostalgic for The Mummy Return? Yes. Am I super excited about The Mummy Return? Not really yet, but his addition to it, if this deal closes, and it sounds like it will, it ups my interest quite a bit. Anyway, Rob, you saw this report. I know you have your thoughts about Obsession as well, but what do you think about the idea of Michael joining The Mummy? And good move for the movie. What do you think?
Well, I mean, even though it's a low-budget indie film, Obsession is a star-making movie.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got your showy role, and she's going to, but go on to great success. But he also, if he wasn't sympathetic and you weren't with that character, the movie wouldn't have worked. And while, obviously he wasn't as much fun as she was, he held his own in a movie that's made over $400 million worldwide. So regardless, it's a smart business decision to add him. And I think Universal, it was the right move because, studios have internal casting people. Like when I was working at Warner Brothers a long time ago, it was Marion Doherty who had discovered like James Dean, who was she was the casting director of Warner Brothers, and she tended to cast the same kinds of people for internal Warner Brothers movies. And with Obsession being Focus Features, I think this is a great move for him because he's not carrying the movie, but it's a chance for him to shine at the studio level, which I think it's great. He gets to do, the movie's not resting on him. So even if the movie doesn't turn out to be as great as we hope it is, he can still acquit himself if he gives us a great performance, and he has opportunities to do more. He can be a little bit broader, he can be a little funnier, he can do something more with the part to stand out, depending on what it is. I mean, maybe he's a demon or something, or maybe he's just a guy. I don't know.
He's probably going to play Brendan Fraser's son.
Yeah, I'm sure that he is, but that's still, he might get possessed. He might become the new Mummy. He might become Mordred to his Arthur. I don't know, but I still think it's a great move. And what it also shows is I like seeing that Universal is behind him.
Yeah.
That's a great vote of confidence. And it showed, in this business, it used to be like when we were growing up watching our favorite filmmakers, sometimes they'd have hits, sometimes they wouldn't because they weren't spending $100 million. And it's nice to see somebody now rewarded for their work and they get to step up into a little bit of a higher rung in the industry. And I give Universal kudos for that.
Sean, what do you think about this move?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only surprise here in a sense is that it's him getting the role before Indy, since she's the talk of the town, but I'm sure that's because she's got a stack of scripts on her desk. She's deciding which one she wants to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, as what both you said, that movie only worked because both of them nailed their roles, and he had to be sympathetic. He had to be someone you could still root for while he was making those choices, which is not easy to do. And the movie only works because he pulled it off. And even kind of putting him on something like The Mummy, Like, I think even for Universal, he's probably a great steal right now because people know his name. They want to know what he's going to do next. You could pay him 20 times what he got paid for Obsession, and it's still a steal in terms of what he probably brings to the table at this particular moment in time. And to what Rob said, it doesn't put the weight of carrying a $200 million movie on his shoulders because everyone is there to see Brendan Fraser back in the role. And so it's just like, it is a nice transition into blockbuster filmmaking. And so it feels like a win for everyone. And it's just exciting to be observing someone having their breakout moment right in front of us.
Yeah.
By the way, let me kick a hornet's nest here. All right. Because Rob, you mentioned like, he played the role of Bear pretty sympathetic. And then I saw a bunch of people in live just saying Bear is not sympathetic. I've been seeing this take online that people think is like some, highfalutin hot take. Bear is not the villain of Obsession. He's not. Nikki is also not the villain of Obsession. The villain is the freaking Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yeah.
Like that's the villain. Like I had this debate with a friend of mine the other day. I said, look, if Bear is guilty of being a bad guy because he wished his crush liked him too, then everybody on the planet. And the moment he realized in the movie that, number one, the wish actually worked, and that he realized it was actually having a negative effect on her, he tried to undo it. He didn't say, who cares if it's hurting her? He tried to undo it. He tried to get them to take it back, and it didn't work. And at that point, both he and Nikki were just caught in this thing that they couldn't get out of. And again, I love the movie. I think the ending is a little bit modern horror formulaic and extremely predictable, but I still love the movie overall. I think it's great. But no, Bear was not the villain of the film. Was he stupid? Yes. But, it is what it is. Anyway, guys, question is for you. The dude who played him was fantastic, and it sounds like Michael is going to be joining Brendan Fraser in the new Mummy movie. I'm excited to see it, and I love the fact that he's going to be getting some of the attention that he deserves. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Well, of course, it seems like every day there's a new angle to the story of the Paramount proposed takeover and merger of Warner Brothers. Just to catch you up really quick, Paramount got hit with a restraining order, a temporary one, so they couldn't close the deal with Warner Brothers. They were going to have a hearing after 2 weeks to see if that restraining order would become permanent until the end of the trial. And Paramount said, you know what? We know we're going to lose, so we'll just forego that hearing and we'll just go to trial. So they're now going to go to trial, which is, of course, going to kick off a ticking penalty fee to the shareholders of Warner Brothers to the tune of $6 to $7 million a day that Paramount is going to have to start paying out to the Warner Brothers shareholders after the end of September. Now, I believe, and there are a lot of different theories out there, and Paramount itself is saying, no, we really believe we can win the case. But I believe Paramount has quietly behind the scenes given up. And I think now they are just now saving face and buying themselves time to find an out and another option. I might be right and I might be wrong about that. This is just me guessing, but it is what it is. But there's a new angle to this that I have to admit I was not aware of. In the midst of all this stuff going on with Paramount agreeing not to close the deal until after the case is solved, you have to understand that this case is probably going to stretch well into 2027. And if the case solves, it can still then go to appeals, which could take us near to the end of 2027, maybe even later. But here's the really interesting wrinkle in all this that I wasn't aware of until before. Coming to us from reporting in The Puck. The Puck writes this, and then there is June 4th, 2027. Assuming antitrust approval is the only obstacle left, June 4th, 2027 is the day that David Zaslav, the head of Warner Brothers, acquires the contractual right to walk away from the transaction and collect a $7 billion regulatory termination fee, which raises an obvious question, writes Puck. If Paramount has agreed to wait until as late as June to close, how can it guarantee enough runway for meaningful appellate review if the judges, Martinez, if the judge ultimately blocks the deal? The answer, at least in Paramount's view, is that the negotiations over the litigation schedule don't end with the stipulation. Paramount is pushing for a November trial, but the state's attorneys are pushing for a trial starting next year. But Paramount believes it has good cause for the earlier date by agreeing to postpone the preliminary injunction fight. It has demonstrated good faith with the judge. In other words, while the public is focused on ticking fees and closing delays, Paramount has its eye on two different timelines. Is that bet worth it? $1 billion in ticking fees, another 6 months or more in limbo, and the opportunity cost of leaving Warner Brothers Discovery frozen in place? I'm still unconvinced. The strategy assumes a relatively orderly path to the trial and appeal with no unpleasant surprises along the way. Whether deteriorating business conditions, debt pressures, or new complications that inevitably arise when a deal spends another year under glass. There's an ancient proverb that says this, guys: only the fool believes his path has no stone. The great philosopher, modern philosopher, Mike Tyson, paraphrased that when he said, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth. Basically, the meaning of both is that you can't ever expect that your plan is just going to go off flawlessly. You have to expect bumps and bruises along the way. Oracle is losing money daily and losing their value in the billions daily, it seems at this point. It looks like on the precipice of this new legal defeat that Paramount just had. And now we find out that if this goes one day over June 3rd, which I don't think this is going to be wrapped up by June 3rd, guys. I mean, I'm sorry. With the experiences I've had, I look at this and I just don't see this being done by June 3rd. It is possible. It's possible. I don't think it will, though. But now we'd find out that on June 4th, David Zaslav can just stand up and go, yeah, we're canceling the deal. And Paramount has to sign him a $7 billion check. And then, in my best impression of a white actor doing the character of Pooh on The Simpsons, David Zaslav will proclaim, "Thank you, come again." And he and Warner Brothers get to walk off laughing with $7 billion of Paramount's money and continue on business as normal and sell again, spin off some things. Who knows? This is an interesting wrinkle on this, which just kind of adds to the confusion about, or maybe gives some clarity as to why Paramount just waved the white flag on the TRO hearing and waved the flag on the injunction. The other interesting thing is this: we can't forget there are still other lawsuits going on from the WGA, from some of the Paramount shareholders. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Anyway, Sean, it's brought me to the place that I've changed my mind. Like all the way up until this week, I've kind of been of the position that at some point Paramount and the states will make some compromises, they'll make some concessions, and at the end of the day, this deal does get done. I don't believe that anymore. I'm now of the persuasion that I think this thing is dead. I don't think even Paramount intends to see this thing through anymore, despite what they may be saying publicly. And like the Puck said, even if they do believe in what they're saying, the path to victory is very cluttered at this point. Anyway, Sean, you're hearing about this power that David Zaslav now has come June 4th to just cancel the deal and collect the money from Paramount. Does that surprise you, not surprise you? How are you feeling about the deal as a whole now, as far as its chances of coming to completion? What do you think?
Well, that segment you read in there, or that section you read, used the phrase unpleasant surprises. And that's like, all this has been unpleasant surprises. You've had me on 4 times this month. Every single week we've talked about the new unpleasant surprise. And you think, you're going to go 9 more months, 10 more months without any more unpleasant surprises, when it feels like, the wagons are circling, you're surrounded, everyone is coming at you with a lawsuit trying to stop this thing from happening. And to me, that it's just felt like there's just too many battles to fight in too many directions that it's not surprising that it feels like this thing's starting to fizzle out. Like maybe they're giving in on this deal. But when I hear that there's an option, if all he does is hold out till June 4th, then they walk away with $7 billion. Like, I don't even understand how some of these contracts get signed without working through more, like thinking through the obstacles that they would face in advance. I just thinking about numbers that big gives me anxiety. So I can't say I'm surprised, because it just has felt this whole time like it's just closing in more and more threats. And here we are at the inevitable of, like, it just looks really bad.
Rob, we now see that this is a new possibility here, which I'll tell you what, if 15 years from now, David Zaslav writes a memoir and says this was his plan all along, what a freaking stroke of genius that would be. Anyway, with this new wrinkle here, adding to with the ticking clocks and time running out, how are you feeling about the actual odds of this deal going through to completion at this point? Not whether or not we all know how we feel about whether we hope it will or not.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
What do you think about the realistic chances here?
I think the actual realistic chances are diminishing day by day. Like you, I used to think it was probably going to go through, that it was inevitable that it would go through. But now I just don't see what is the advantage. I don't understand. I would rather see Paramount become a powerhouse studio on its own. But it seems like, they want to do things to turn it into an entity that has some kind of political sway with the news and things like that, which I don't think it's working out the way they hoped it would. So sometimes, it's like Kenny Rogers said when he was singing The Gambler, you got to know when to fold them and walk away and know when to run, because at this point, and again, I'm not a financial analyst. I don't understand what I don't understand, but I don't get what the advantage is with this deal. I mean, ultimately, there's so many headaches with this deal, and I just don't understand. I mean, maybe they'll turn around and buy Lionsgate or something. That would make more sense, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I mean,
but
look, we're just repeating the same thing we've said before, but at the risk of that, I'll say it again. What I would really love to see is just Paramount go, you know what? We had a vision. We went for it. Didn't work. We gave it our best shot. We can sleep well at night. And now we're going to turn all of our energy and attention into making Paramount the best damn studio it can be, putting out the best product we can put out, and elevating the status of Paramount in Hollywood. I would love to just see them do that. Instead, now we're going to have another year of their tension being completely divided, bleeding money, having interest on their already existing debts accumulating. Part of the reason, everybody thinks the reason I don't really want this deal to go through is just because I don't want Paramount owning Warner Brothers. And there is an element of that for sure. But the other part of it is I think it is in Paramount's best interest. I want Paramount to succeed. And I just think it's in their best interest if they just focus on Paramount and get that studio back to where it should be. I mean, that's just what I want them to do, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Apparently, with all the delays and now the upcoming trials, whenever that starts and could be stretched well into late 2027, David Zaslav has an ace up his sleeve. He gets to cancel the whole deal if he wants on June 4th. If he wants. He may not want to. But if he does, he can say, Dunzo, and $7 billion, please. I don't know. What do you think is going to happen here? Whatever you think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Hey, Rob, you know what day it is today?
Well, it's the day you're going to go see Spider-Man Brand New Day as part of that Amazon fan screening.
That means it's game day.
It's
Going
game
to see
day for you.
Spider-Man tonight. I'm so excited to go see this damn movie. I've been getting more and more excited about it as the reviews came out and all that kind of stuff. So I am stoked. It is game day. Gonna go, and I'm sure a lot of you guys watching right now probably got some of your fan tickets to the early fan screenings tonight. So super stoked about seeing that. Now the question has been, just how big will Spider-Man open? There have been some reports going around, and I've had my own viewers writing this. John, did you hear that there's now projecting Spider-Man's going to open to $800 million worldwide? No, it's not. At least it's very unlikely. So here's what happened, guys. And we've seen this. This is part of modern online movie fandom. A Twitter account put out, we think that Spider-Man's going to make 300 million opening and 800 million worldwide on its opening weekend. Not any of the legitimate box office trackers, some Twitter account. So then what happens is one outlet sees that and decides to make a story out of it, make a headline out of it. 5 other outlets see that headline, they run their own version of it, and then, you know, ipso facto, I've got 55 people writing to me saying, John, did you hear that Spider-Man's going to open to 800 million worldwide? Now, is it impossible that Spider-Man Brand New Day opens to $800 million worldwide? It's not. It's certainly not impossible, not at all, but that is not what is being tracked. But what is being tracked is still pretty damn huge. As Deadline is reporting, that the tracking for Spider-Man Brand New Day, the lowest tracking they have is about $200 million. But they note that there are other major industry trackers that are saying the $250 million sphere. Now, to put that into perspective, if Spider-Man Brand New Day does in fact open up to, let's say, $161 million, all right? $161 million, which would be right in that range of that 250 projection. That would make it the number 1 opening weekend box office of any film since the pandemic. Right now, at number 5 is Barbie at $162 million opening. Number 4 is Deadpool and Wolverine at 211. Sorry, at number 4 is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever at 181 million. Then Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness with 187 million. Deadpool and Wolverine with 211 million. And right now, the biggest post-pandemic opening was Spider-Man No Way Home at 260 million. If Spider-Man Brand New Day can get 261 million, then we are talking about the biggest opening, and it is absolutely within striking distance. That record is absolutely in striking distance. They're also saying at Deadline that the worldwide projection right now for its opening weekend is 500 million, which, make no mistake, is a monstrous number. An absolute monstrous number. But I think that 800 million is pretty fiction. I would love to wake up Monday and find out that that's exactly what they got. I would love it. But again, that's pretty much a fairy tale at this point. But again, you know, we're talking about a comic book movie that a lot of people had written off the genre, said there's comic book movie fatigue. Again, tell that to Superman that came out, made more than the 7 previous DCU movies out there. Tell that to Deadpool and Wolverine that made $1.3 billion. Tell that to Spider-Man No Way Home, which made nearly $2 billion. Tell that to this Spider-Man movie that's projecting to open to 250. Tell that to Avengers Doomsday, which is like shattering records as far as advanced ticket sales go. But there is a palatable excitement about this. And what is really interesting to me is the fact that this is not a big ensemble movie like Avengers. Like, we're talking about Spider-Man Brand New Day in the same conversations about what's going to be the biggest film of the year with Avengers Doomsday. I think it's clearly going to be Avengers Doomsday, but the very fact that there's even debate about it is the fact that we're talking about a singular character movie. Yes, there are a couple of supporting characters like Punisher and Hulk, versus a massive ensemble film with a long history like Avengers. There is just something so special about this character. And by the ways, guys, I think all this excitement and these numbers that we're talking about is a testament. And I've mentioned this before, but all this excitement, I think, is a testament to just how good of a job John Watts did with his 3 Tom Holland Spider-Man films, now passing the baton to Destin Daniel Cretton, who, by the way, I don't know if you saw his interview on the carpet the other day, but Destin decided to take a few moments and pay tribute to John Watts, talking about how it's the fabulous work that John Watts laid down that we get to build on top of. It was a really nice little compliment that he paid there. Anyway, Rob, we're now sitting here. It is now the final hours. We're leading in. The public is going to start seeing Spider-Man tonight. I know you're seeing it tomorrow. Sean's already seen it. And now it's the last opportunity we have. The projections are going anywhere from 200 up to the realm of 250, which obviously puts 260, 270 totally within range here. How big of an opening weekend do you think Spider-Man is going to have? And why is it going to have such a big weekend?
Well, first of all, like you said, I mean, I grew up with Spider-Man. I mean, he was on the Electric Company, and I watched Spider-Man cartoons since I was a kid, read Spider-Man comics. I mean, I think that Spider-Man, of all the superheroes, is the most identifiable for kids. Spider-Man is us. So when you grow up, Spider-Man is like the first character that the first superhero you really identify with, especially if you're a comic reader, because he's a proxy for the audience itself. So, and as you grow up, you never lose your fondness for this character. This character is sort of eternal in terms of, because he's not perfect and he is kind of awkward and he is kind of trying to navigate the world in an imperfect way, even though he is a superhero. And so he's always relatable. And so I think, and also the movies have done a really good job, I think, of preserving that idea. And Tom Holland, I mean, his winsome ways, I haven't liked all of his movies because, as you pointed out so many times, they've leaned into the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the Iron Man of it all. Whereas, like, I think the first half of Tobey Maguire's first Spider-Man, when he's learning to navigate his powers, is near perfect. And then Spider-Man 2 is just a wonderful, wonderful film. But all of the Spider-Man movies have something to offer. I mean, you could say Amazing Spider-Man 2 was overstuffed and had tonal issues. But if you look at, 11 or 12 Spider-Man movies now, if you include Into the Spider-Verse, you've got the 4 Tom Holland movies, the 3 Tobey Maguire movies, the 2 Andrew Garfield films, and then the 2 Into the Spider-Verse movies. And I think that they're consistently great entertainments. And I think people just like the world. Look, whether Spider-Man Brand New Day is a perfect movie or not, I'm just looking forward into just delving into that milieu. This is coming off of all the previous Spider-Man movies and the popularity of the video game for the PS4 and the PS5. And I think that's a great place to be. So how big can this movie be worldwide? Well, as we're seeing, I mean, I was reading an article about pre-sales on this film, which are insane.
Yeah.
Tickets that have already been sold. I mean, it's already a hit. But I think it wouldn't surprise me if we saw worldwide grosses between $400 and $500 million. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
By the way, I should throw this in here now, that as a result, they're saying as a result of the first reactions and reviews that have come out for Spider-Man, Box Office Pro has now updated their projections. And Box Office Pro right now, they're now projecting 280 to 300 million.
Wow.
Tell me again, reviews don't matter. So Box Office Pro is coming off of the 91% critic rating that it has on Rotten Tomatoes. They are now updating their projections. Now, others are still holding it I just double checked. Others are still holding at the $250 million range. But as a result of the reviews, Box Office Pro right now they're projecting 280 as what they think is the floor to 300. Now we're getting into the territory of not just, again, I want to double down that other box office, I've just checked them, other box office industry trackers are still holding at that 250 million. But if Box Office Pro is right. We're no longer having a conversation about the biggest opening since the pandemic. At the top end, we could be getting into striking distance of having a conversation of the biggest opening of all time. I don't think it will, but it's just, this is crazy. So Sean, let's go over to you now. You know, we're seeing these insane numbers. This could be the biggest opening since the pandemic, maybe depending on who you're listening to, maybe even much beyond that. How big do you see this thing opening, especially with the perspective of you're the guy on this panel who's seen this movie already? And what do you think it is that drives that?
Spider-Man himself is a juggernaut. He's the most broadly accessible superhero, as per what Robert was talking about, but all ages, all cultures, everybody loves Spider-Man, and they've consistently liked Spider-Man. The last movie was by far the most successful Spider-Man movie that's ever been put out, and instead of cranking out another one as quick as possible, they took their time. It's almost been 5 years.
Yeah.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder. So they left us wanting more on such a high, and they went, we're going to wait to do it right. And so just building up that anticipation, the excitement for a new Spider-Man movie. So no surprise that this thing's huge because he's the most popular, and we want big event films that are exciting, where everyone in the room is just so excited to be in the room with that energy. And that's what this is. One thing I think might hold it back from having as big of a weekend is I don't think it quite has the same event feeling that Endgame and No Way Home had, where you went to go see those movies, portals opened, and you start freaking out, your whole theater freaks out, and you start looking around to everybody around you, and you want to see the reaction of your friends. And so you're just like, anyone that hasn't seen it, you're dragging them to go see Endgame and No Way Home over that opening weekend to see their reactions to all the surprises, the twists and turns. And this movie isn't designed to be that. It's designed like, let's tell a really good Spider-Man story. It's New York centric. There are twists, turns, and surprises in this movie, but it's not portal sequence level of like, I got to bring my friend to see this. They're going to freak out. I can't wait to see it. And I wonder if that'll, like, when you start getting like day 3, day 4, if there's a bit of a drop off of not having as many repeat viewings. It's a rewatchable movie, but that specific experience of dragging as many people as possible, I don't know that this movie will have that.
There's also one other thing that could hamper its box office. The conversation up till now has been, hey, the Odyssey is doing great. It just had the best second weekend of any box office film in history that opened over $100 million. It's doing great. But a little thing called Spider-Man is coming. But maybe we've been guilty of not looking at it from the other point of view as well. Fact of the matter is, there's still a lot of people going to see obviously Spider-Man is going to smash it this weekend for sure. But are there going to be enough people that are still like, yeah, I want to see Spider-Man, but I haven't seen this Odyssey movie yet that a lot of people are talking about? I think that could become a little bit of a hindrance to Spider-Man's top, ceiling, about how, like, maybe it'll prevent it from being, instead of being 280, maybe it ends up being 269 or 270 or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to see, because I've only been looking at it one way, but maybe we should look at it the other as well. Anyway, guys.
And even losing premium screens to
yes,
the Odyssey having the IMAX screens that are sold out, and Spider-Man doesn't have that bonus.
Yeah.
And by the way, I did check this earlier. It seems like everybody's checking them every day. The IMAX screens for Odyssey this weekend, all sold out. All sold out. So there's going to be, it's going to be a busy time in the movie theaters this weekend, which is great. I'm super happy for the movie theaters. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? They're projecting that Spider-Man Brand New Day could actually beat Spider-Man No Way Home, possibly to becoming the biggest opening weekend since the pandemic. In the most euphoric of circumstances, some people think there might even be a shot it could be the biggest opening weekend of all time. I don't know. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, It's time for us to go on to the main part of our show, which is, of course, taking your live comments and questions. But before we do, we are going to bid good afternoon to writer, director, producer Robert Meyer Burnett. Good job as always, my friend. Make sure you text me once you see Spider-Man.
I will, and enjoy it. Enjoy it, John.
And, of course, the incredible Sean Chandler. Sean, thank you for bringing all of your knowledge and insight to us again, and we will talk to you again next week, my friend.
Talk to you next week.
All right, guys. Now it's time to get to the real important stuff, which is your comments and questions. The stuff you guys have sent in. So let's get things kicked off here, shall we? And we're going to start off with Christopher Brickner, who writes, with Peter getting organic webs in Brand New Day, will there be a reference to the Tobey Spider-Man since he has organic webs and Peter met him? I'm going to guess. Now Sean could answer this question directly, but I wouldn't get him to do that, even if he was still here. My guess is yes. I don't know, but my guess is it would make sense for him to at least make a reference to it saying, I've seen this before, right? And maybe a reference to Tobey's would come into play here. I mean, I don't think they need to, but my guess is they will, Christopher. I'll find out in a couple of hours. All right. Thanks for that, Christopher. Jackson writes, I bought a John Campea Show t-shirt. Oh, thank you, man. Yesterday from your merch site. Any plans to do more design/products in the future? Thanks for the show and all you do. You know what's funny? Just a couple of weeks ago, because we haven't updated merch in years. And just a couple of weeks ago, I was having a conversation about, maybe we should look at adding some more stuff in there because, I mean, he doesn't know this yet, but a guy in my D&D group, you've seen on Filthy Sports and you've seen on my show once in a while, our friend Matt, he's an incredible artist. And I'm thinking maybe I should maybe get on him to do some designs for some new merch. So again, it's something I've been guilty of that we have not updated in years and years and years, but maybe it's something we need to start doing. Thank you for that, Jack. And thanks for getting the t-shirt, man. I appreciate that, dude. All right. Next one up, we got Mike Hill, who writes, it seems like we have the old Hulk back. I hope he's back for good. Me too. I've missed him ever since Thor Ragnarok. His best outing is still Avengers 1 to me. Oh, I agree. Listen, I really liked him in Thor Ragnarok. Really liked him in Thor Ragnarok. But to me, yeah, his outing in the first Avengers film is just the best because nothing stands in his way, right? It doesn't matter if it's the giant flying serpents. It doesn't matter with all the Chitauri they want to. It doesn't matter. He just wrecks everything and everyone. He is an unstoppable force. And I love the way that was projected in the first Avengers. I don't know if that's what we're going to get now, but as long as we don't get family barbecue Hawaiian t-shirt wearing Hulk anymore, I'll be happy. As long as we can get back to actual Hulk, I'll be happy, Mike. All right. Next up. We've got Kevin, who writes, it won't happen because one, I don't think he is that popular in the comic books, and two, his backstory would make basement dwellers cry. But I would love if the MCU moved from having Mahershala Ali as Blade and casted him as Blue Marvel. Sorry, I meant basement dwelling neckbeards. Love the show. Been watching for years. Well, thank you for that, Kevin. You know what's funny though? Do you guys remember back when WandaVision was on? And they needed to meet this guy. And the theories ran wild. Everybody thought we were about, in WandaVision, to get Blue Marvel introduced. Do you remember that? That like half the internet was absolutely convinced we were about to get Blue Marvel. Now, yes. Is he a top line marquee name in Marvel Comics? No. Are there a ton of people who've never heard of Blue Marvel? Absolutely. But I mean, most people never heard of Wonder Man. Most people never heard of Nova. It's never stopped Marvel from pushing out and exploring new characters. My one hesitation about Blue Marvel is the fact that I think Marvel needs to be careful with all their overpowered characters. Because what I don't want Marvel to become is just a pantheon of gods. Like every single character is universal destructive power at their hands, right? And Blue Marvel is, I would argue, an OP character. Like, he is an extremely powerful character. And I would like to see them maybe bring that back a little bit. But again, a lot of us thought he was coming in, a lot of us thought he was coming in WandaVision, and you never know. Could be something that's on the menu, Kevin. All right, next up. Jay Bling writes, casting auditions for Reacher season 5, casting additions for Reacher season 5, Jay Burchell. I really like Jay. I like him a lot. Who previously dropped out of season 4, and Kevin Durand, a good physical match for Reacher. I've always liked Kevin Durand. And he was great in the Last Apes movie. And he's always been a big guy, but I don't know if you've seen him like recently. He's become a monster. Like, he's like huge. By the way, he was so good in, help me out, what's the name of the little, vampire movie with the little girl? Is it Abigail? Was that the name of it? I think it was Abigail. Hey, correct me if I'm wrong in the live chat, but man, yeah, Kevin was so good. I love him. And every time I see him pop up in something, I think he's absolutely amazing. So that's great. It would be good. He would be a good foil. He'd be a really good foil. Comic Fan writes, Kevin Feige said, maybe we will announce more X-Men stuff on a panel. I believe we might have news on it at D23. That's possible, but I doubt it. There's two reasons why I don't think they will. And by the way, I'm not saying I know that they won't. Maybe they do. I'm just giving my completely unfounded speculation. But the two reasons why I don't think they're going to talk about X-Men casting. Number one, it would be counterproductive to start talking and promoting and pushing the new generation of X-Men when we're about to have a movie come out later this year that is all about the old generation of X-Men. That doesn't make any sense to me. There's no reason to do it. And by the way, they're not even going to start shooting the new X-Men movie until early 2027 from everything I'm hearing. So what's the point? Like, what honestly would be the point of doing it? The second reason why I don't think they would is because it, at least on the surface, it looked like at Comic-Con, they focused all on just the movies. They didn't talk any television. They just focused on the movies. It seems to me that it would make sense then, and I'm just guessing, it seems to me then that at D23, they would focus on all the Disney Plus stuff. Vision Quest, X-Men 97, Marvel Zombies the next season, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, whatever other live action Disney Plus stuff we may have coming. Wonder Man season 2, maybe some news about that. It kind of looks like they did movies at Comic-Con and they'll focus on Disney Plus stuff at D23. But even if they do some movie stuff, I don't see any purpose, any reason to do X-Men casting stuff when you've got the old cast you want all the attention to be on right now, at least until after the movie comes out. And the focus seems to be on television. So again, you might be right, man. You might be right. Maybe they do. I'm not saying they absolutely won't, but my guess is that they won't, and that's why. All right, thanks for writing that in, Comic. Next up, Christian writes, what's more likely? If the Paramount deal doesn't go ahead, when would Netflix or Apple buy Warner Brothers? Or do you think Warner Brothers would not sell as they will get $7 billion? Here's my best guess. You guys will remember that prior to Netflix or Paramount stepping up as possible suitors and buyers of Warner Brothers, David Zaslav big plan was to split the company up. He was going to create two entities, remember? He was going to split into one thing, Warner Brothers Studios and HBO Max. So you're going to have the studios and HBO. And then on the other side was all their television and cable assets other than HBO Max. TNT, CNN, like this huge swath of stuff. And that was going to become its own individual company. So I think their first plan, if the Paramount deal falls through, is that they will go back to that immediately. to proceed with their plans to split the Warner Brothers up, spin off that television division company, and then have HBO Max and Warner Brothers Studio as its own thing. That's what I think they'll do. And then at that point, other buyers can come along and buy the television spinoff. Other buyers might come along and buy the studio part. Who knows? But I think that's the first thing that David Zaslav will do. That's my guess at any rate. All right. Good question, Christian. All right. Next up, your rights. Just saw Spider-Man and wow, this is because it's already open in a couple, those fan advanced screenings are already happened in some countries around the world. Just saw Spider-Man and wow, this is the most Spider-Man Tom Holland has been. Will there be an open spoiler discussion? Absolutely. As always on Sunday. So when I do big open spoiler discussions, I generally have them on the Sunday after the movie opens, just to make sure everybody's had a chance to go see it. So yes, this coming Sunday, there will be a big open spoiler Spider-Man brand new day discussion. Thanks for writing that in, Yor. All right. Next up, we've got Rick, who writes, hey, John, knowing what you know about Doomsday, do you recommend I watch the Loki series in prep for Doomsday? What is the TVA? Thanks. Okay, so I would say this. I think Doomsday has set everything up that if you've never seen the Loki series, they will fill you in on all. I think Doomsday itself will fill you in on enough information that you're fine. You're not going to be lost if you go in and watch Doomsday without having seen Loki. Now, would I recommend watching Loki? I would recommend watching Loki. I think Loki's a good series. I don't think it's their best series, but I think it's a good series. And it will certainly give you a little bit more context. But again, I don't think it's necessary. Helpful? Yes. Necessary? No. I think you're going to be fine going into Doomsday without watching the Loki series. But again, I would just recommend watching the Loki series because it's a pretty darn good series. All right. Thanks for that, Rick. Next up, Thrag writes, of the Viltrumites, writes, hey, John, big fan. Thank you so much. I started watching Shrinking and I am now on season 2. What a hilarious, emotional, and relatable show. Genuinely brilliant. Also, game day. Listen, you know me, guys. I am an evangelist for Shrinking. I just think it might be the best thing on television. And I say that as somebody who is a massive fan of House of the Dragon, massive fan of a lot of the stuff that we've got. I honestly think Shrinking might just be the best thing on TV. Currently running. We haven't had Shogun in a couple of years now, but currently running, I just think it is. It is. I've never had a television show ever that has me laughing my fool ass off in 1 second and the next second getting completely choked up and having tears welling up in my eyes. And then the next second after that, laughing hysterically again. It's such a beautiful show. It is a hilarious and beautiful show. I can't recommend it enough. I'm really glad you're watching it. I think it's Harrison Ford's best work in decades. And it's just a brilliant, brilliant show. I'm glad you're watching it, Thrag. Thanks for sharing that, dude. All right. Jay Bling writes, on Josh Horowitz's podcast, Will Ferrell said that he and Adam Sandler have been talking about working together, and hearing that bummed me because that would have been exciting for me 15 to 20 years ago. I'm not going to lie. I watched about a half hour of that new Will Ferrell series, Hawk. Awful. Just awful. I couldn't watch it anymore. I had to tap out. I was like, I had to tap out. It was just terrible. That being said, I still think Will Ferrell is still one of the funniest guys in the business. I still think he is absolutely insanely funny. I still think that because I listen to him on podcasts all the time. Like he was on recently, oh damn, what's the name of the Kelsey Brothers podcast? I can't, I listened to it and I can't remember the name of the podcast. I just call it the Kelsey's Brothers podcast at any rate. And just listening to him that, and he can rip better than anybody in the business. He's just fantastic. New Heights. Thank you. I don't know. I was going to say New Day. It's like, I know it's not New Day, so I didn't say it out loud, but yes, New Heights. Thank you. It's a great podcast. You guys should listen to it. Anyway, I honestly think he's one of the funniest guys in the world. Not that everything he does is hilarious. Like I said, Hawk is just, at least the half hour of it I watched is just terrible. But I would be down to seeing him and Adam Sandler teaming up. I'm not going to lie. I would still much rather see him and John C. Reilly mend their differences and do stuff together again. That's what I would really like to see. Now, granted, not everything that John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell did together was gold either. There was that terrible Sherlock Holmes thing they did. But I love those two. I would love to see those two together. I would love to see them mend their fences and do some stuff together again. But anyway, that being said, I would totally be down for an Adam Sandler, Will Ferrell thing. I would totally give it a shot. All right. Next up, we've got Dia writes, great sequels ranking. Dune 2 versus The Dark Knight versus Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Dune 2. Then Dark Knight, then, in the order you've got it is the way I would put it. Dune 2, then The Dark Knight, and then Terminator 2 Judgment Day. All absolute magnificent movies. All absolute magnificent movies. Absolute magnificent movies. All right, but that's how I would order it, Dia. All right, Eugene writes, sends in a $20 super chat. Thank you for that, Eugene. Eugene writes, how do IMAX contracts work? IMAX are still continuing to sell out Odyssey showings. What stops theaters from just running a movie that's selling out for as long as they can? Is it different for IMAX versus IMAX 70 millimeter? No, studios, movie theaters, unlike every other theater in their building, they have to abide by a deal they have with IMAX. IMAX programs what goes on their screens. And that makes them unique. Now, I don't know if that's the same situation, to be honest with you, for Screen X or for other specialty types of screens that are in multiple movie theater chains. I don't know if that applies as well, but IMAX determines what plays on their screens. Whether their IMAX screen is in a Regal theater, in an AMC theater, in a Cinemark theater, IMAX determines what plays on their screens. So no. A movie theater cannot just on their own say, well, we're just going to play this on the IMAX screen. No, they're not. It's up to IMAX. That's why they make their deals well in advance. It's an excellent question, Eugene. And it like I said, it raises a question for me about if that same rule applies to other specialty types of screens. Like 4DX, I believe specifically belongs to Regal, I think. So that's not a question, but I'm thinking if there's some other specialty types of screens that, like, I think Screen X doesn't just belong to one movie theater chain. I think Screen X is its own thing and then is in a couple of different movie theater chains. So I wonder if in a case like that, if the same rules would apply. I'm not sure. That's a great question you just raised in my mind, Eugene. Thank you so much for that, man. All right. And again, somebody says right in Infinity Vision. Listen, guys, let me be clear about this. Infinity Vision is not a real thing. Okay? Infinity Vision is this bullshit made up nothing burger that Marvel made up just to make some kind of a marketing thing. It is not a real thing. Infinity Vision is just a standard that they made fit a bunch of specialty large format screens that are already out there. And they said, oh, you get to be an Infinity. It's not its own individual thing, say like a, like IMAX is or something like that. Anyway. All right, let's keep going here. Next, thanks for that, Eugene. Let's see. DG Productions writes, VIP Kavinsky. I'm not familiar with Kavinsky, to be honest with you. His song Night Call from Drive is not only one of the greatest needle drops in movie history, that is a great needle drop, but helped create synthwave as a music genre. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the individual. I'm obviously familiar with the movie, but I'm not familiar with the individual. So I did not know any of that. And I clearly didn't know he passed away, but yes, R.I.P. to Kavinsky. I hope I'm saying that right. Thanks for putting that out there, DJ. DG, I mean. All right. Next up, Fabio Fernandez Rodriguez sends in a $50 super chat. Thank you so much, Fabio. And Fabio writes in, "Hey, John, greetings from Orlando. We had a great movie meetup in Orlando, man. I hope you were there. And off the topic question, you always give your opinion on comic books that a movie is based on. So are you reading any run at the moment? Have you had a chance to read the Absolute Universe from DC? Any thoughts?" No, I have not. I was mentioning on the show, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, that I have not been keeping up with any of the newer stuff over the last year or so. And I have not read any of the Absolute. The only stuff I know about the Absolute Universe is when I watch Rob's videos over at Comics Explained, which is like one of the best YouTube channels on the platform. Or if you guys are not already subscribed to Rob's not Robert Meyer Burnett, but to Rob's Comics Explained channel, you really should. Like, it's just great. He breaks it down and all that kind of stuff. So no, I have not been up on any of the Absolute stuff. It's been a little bit longer than that, because the last thing I was really following perfectly, well, I did jump on the recent Spider-Man stuff. I was on that, but before that, the last thing I was really up on was New 52. And that's going back a bit now. So I've not been able to maintain myself regularly on the comics, unfortunately. But, fortunately for me, a lot of the stuff that comes out now are based on comics that are a little bit older. And those are the things I know most. But no, I haven't, other than Rob's videos, I really haven't kept up on the Absolute stuff over at DC. I hear good things. But yeah, there's that. All right. Anyway, Fabio, great question. And thank you so much for supporting us on that level, man. That's incredibly generous of you and appreciate it very much, dude. Thank you for that. All right. Next up, we got John Keeley, who writes, "Spider-Man Brand New Day open today here in Scotland. Guys, you're going to have lots of fun. The film is awesome. It's the best Spidey movie since Spider-Man 2. I don't know. I have my doubts about that. I hope it is. But I have my doubts. Look, to me, and people get mad when I say this, but to me, it's true. As much crap as we always give Sony, here's the truth. The 3 best Spider-Man movies ever made. And remember, I love all of Tom Holland's ones. I do. But the 3 best Spider-Man movies ever made are all done by Sony. In no particular order: Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 and the 2 Spider-Verse movies, Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. Those are, to me, easily the 3 best Spider-Man movies ever made. So now, you're saying this is like better than the Spider-Verse movies? If it does work out like that, then I'm in for a really good time tonight. I'm in for a real good time tonight. But even if it's not as good as those ones, as if it's still on the level of the previous Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, Homecoming, No Way Home, Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home. If it's just as good as those 3, I'll be super happy. I will be super happy. All right. Next up, we got Culture War Diplomacy, who writes, What's a project you heard about you're sad probably won't happen? RZA's Last Dragon remake is on my list. You know why I'd be down for that? Because I liked his Man with the Iron Fists. Do you guys remember that one? Man with the Iron Fists? Dave Bautista was one of the guys in it. One of my wife's sorority, Jamie Chung was in it. And I don't know if I've mentioned on the show before, but Jamie Chung and my wife were sorority sisters in university. and they know each other. And I love Jamie. Jamie's absolutely, I've had a chance to get together with her a few times. She's absolutely wonderful, fantastic, super talented actress. But I liked Man with the Iron Fists. I had a good one. But what is one? Well, I mean, I'll say the most obvious one. Mahershala Ali's Blade. I love Mahershala Ali's Blade. I love the idea of it. I've been excited about the idea. I mean, I'm always a little apprehensive because, he might be getting a little bit older to start a brand new franchise, but didn't care. He's a 2-time Academy Award winner. He's one of the best actors on the planet. And to have him playing Blade, I think would have been magnificent. So it's a little bit of a throwaway because everybody is saying, but honestly, that's the one right now. I would love to have seen Blade with Mahershala Ali. All right. Let's see. Next up, we got Hollow Lord. It says, hey, John, you keep up with Silo Season 3? I still haven't seen Silo Season 2. I have this horrible habit of watching Season 1 of a bunch of shows and loving it and then falling off and not keeping up with it. I still haven't seen Fallout Season 2, and you guys know I loved Fallout Season 1, and I've not gotten around to watching Fallout Season 2, and I loved Silo Season 1, and I still haven't caught up with Season 2. So yeah, I'm still a little ways off of Season 3. I know my wife Ann is watching Season 3 right now, but because I've, walked through the living room as she's watching Season 3, but I am not caught up on it yet. Not caught up on it yet. All right. Thanks for the question though, Hollow Lord. All right. Let's see. Where are we at? We're at Mike T 54, who writes, sends in a $20 super chat. Thank you, Mike T. And Mike T writes, it's funny. So I follow React channels who watch Marvel movies, and when they get to Winter Soldier, they are genuinely shocked when Bucky is revealed to be Winter Soldier. As a comic fan, I don't know if I take for granted that we are the minority. How can you be shocked that Bucky is the Winter Soldier when the name of the movie is The Winter Soldier? Look, I absolutely do not mean this in a disparaging way at all. Let me be clear. But I've stumbled across some of these reaction channels, and I want to be careful not to paint with too broad of a brush because I absolutely do not mean to do that. It's just that I've stumbled across a couple of these, and it's like some people doing, like, I remember a little while ago watching Deadpool and Wolverine for the first time. I'm like, okay. But then you look at the room they're in, and they're clearly pop culture nerds. And they're clearly people who are totally into comic book movies and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, do I believe that this person literally didn't watch Deadpool and Wolverine for 2 years? And maybe I'm totally wrong, and maybe I'm being way too pessimistic, but when I look at some of them, I'm like, I don't believe for a second that you haven't seen X movie that you claim to be reacting to right now. I don't believe for a second that couple did not totally already see this movie, or those 3 people didn't already see this. I don't know. Maybe it's just me being way too pessimistic. Maybe that's totally unfair of me. Maybe it is. But yeah, I can't watch those because I just have this nagging, and maybe it's completely unfounded, and maybe it's completely unfair of me. I admit that. Okay. Maybe it is, but it's just right or wrong. I've got this nagging thing in the back of my head that's like, I don't believe for a second that you haven't seen this already. But anyway, that's just me. And again, I may be totally wrong, and I'm not making any accusations. It's just that's again, and maybe it's totally unfair, but that is there in the back of my head, and it makes it so I can't enjoy watching those. Anyway, next up, all right. Why can't I get this to move? Hold on a second. All right, there we go. All right, Ron H writes, you feeling lonely, John? Not loving BBC Batman Beyond crew. Become one of us, one of us, one of us. Listen, this has been a discussion ever since I did the movie blog, which is what I started my online journey with. I still remember like the mailbag question when I did the movie blog and somebody asking, when are they going to do I believe any day now they're going to do a Batman Beyond live action movie. And this is like 20 years ago, and saying, no, they're not. No, they're not. John, you just wait and see. You wait and see, John. 2005, there's going to be a live action Batman Beyond. I'm like, no, there's not. There's no way there's going to do one. And everybody tell me I was stupid, and everybody tell me I'm wrong. And then, of course, 2005 would come, then 2006 would come, then 2010, then 2012, then 2014. And every year, inevitably, John, they're going to do a Batman Beyond live action movie next year. No, they're not. John, they're totally going to do a Batman Beyond live action movie in the next 3 years. And I'd say, no, they're not. And for 20 years, 20 years, I've been right. Wrong about a lot of things, but I was right about that. I still don't believe ever. Well, you can't say ever, right? In the movie business, because 5 years is literally an eternity in the movie world. Like the movie landscapes and everything can totally change in 5 years. Totally change every 5 years. So who knows what will happen? But in this reality, nobody's going to invest the money to make a live action Batman Beyond movie in the next 5 years. I said that 20 years ago. I said that 15 years ago. I said that 10 years ago. I said that 5 years ago. I'll say it again now. And I'll probably end up saying it again 5 years from now. But it's just not going to happen. Now, a Batman Beyond animated movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I think made that a possibility. I think Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the first one, I think that completely expanded the possibilities that we could get a Batman Beyond animated movie. I do think it's still unlikely, but within the realm of possibility. Live action, not in the realm of possibility, but animated one within the realm of possibility. Let's see here. Next up, we've got, and I'm having issues again. Gopala writes, just saw Spider-Man and it might be my favorite MCU Spider-Man movie. Nice. Love hearing that. Again, the reviews have been great. Right now it's at a 91%. I think the highest critic rating for any Spider-Man, Marvel era Spider-Man film was 93. So it's within like 2% of the highest one ever. I cannot wait to see it a little bit later. All right. Next up, we've got Mike T54, who sends in a $20 super chat. Thank you, Mike. And Mike writes, do you think when/how you see a movie for the first time affects your opinion on it? Oh, do I think how and when I see the movie for the first time it affects my opinion on it? Example, I saw Batman vs. Superman in a fan screening with hardcore nerds, cheers and hollering the whole movie. I saw it with a general audience and it was crickets. Yes. Yeah, but that's true of anything, right? Like if you go to a concert, the band plays great and the audience goes wild, that enhances your experience. You go to that same concert and the band plays every bit as good, but it's a dead crowd, it makes the experience less enjoyable. That's part of the reason why going to the movies is always better than watching it on your fat ass at home and my fat ass at home. Sitting on our fat asses on the same couch you sit on every fucking night, watching it on the same little, I don't care how big you think your TV is. It's tiny. Okay. Compared to a movie, it's tiny. Watching the same tiny little screen. And, I mean, it's in the absence of any other option. It's fine. It's fine. I like watching movies at home. I do, but going to the movie theater is such a better experience in every way, shape, and form. And what really punctuates it is the fact that you're watching it with a crowd and you're getting the gasps and the awes and the sniffles and the laughter and the jumps and whatever all together When you get that, it absolutely elevates the experience. So, yeah, I think how and where you see a movie for the first time will absolutely impact how you feel about the movie, because I think if you watch it with a great audience that loves it too, it's going to elevate your experience, right? Movies are experiential events. So that will absolutely elevate the experience. And yeah, I really like that. It absolutely enhances it. Then if you go and watch the same movie with a totally dead audience, the movie's still every bit as good, but your overall experience won't be as good as if you saw it with a rowdy crowd. So I absolutely agree with that. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a great thing, because it's just another thing that adds to the experience. So yes, I agree with you on that. Anyway, Mike, thank you so much for that, dude. And thank you for sending in the question. Appreciate it, man. And yeah, look, I can get this back now. Here we go. All right. And our final question today comes to us from Ron, who writes, John, Christian Harloff, KH, refuses to watch Hollyweed. So... you can watch or not watch whatever you want to watch, dude. It's a Kevin Smith pilot on YouTube, barely 30 minutes. Well, I love Kevin Smith. Christian says he has no time. LOL. What about you? You going to check it out, please? Probably not. It doesn't interest me. Dude, I was just talking about how I haven't even started watching Fallout Season 2 yet, or Silo Season 2. I got a million things I got to watch. And if Christian says he doesn't have time to watch it, then he doesn't have time to watch it. And listen, all due respect to Kevin Smith, I love Kevin Smith. Absolutely love Kevin Smith. But that's not one that appeals to me personally. Not that anybody else, it shouldn't appeal to you or to anybody else. It's just not for me. That's all. So no, I'm probably not going to watch it, to be honest with you. It's I just got too many other things I got to watch. And all right, guys, this is the last time that I will be addressing you as a person who has not seen Spider-Man Brand New Day. Keep your eyes open on the channel tonight. I am because I'm going to the movie and then I'm coming straight home from the movie to post my out of theater reaction to Spider-Man Brand New Day tonight. Keep your eyes open on the channel for it. It will go up tonight. I mean, I get out of my theater. It's going to be late because I probably get out of my movie like around 9:30 p.m. Then I got to record my out of theater reaction there. Then I got to drive home, do a quick edit, upload it. Probably won't be uploaded till at least 11 o'clock tonight, LA time. But keep your eyes open for it. Regardless, I will be putting up my Spider-Man Brand New Day thoughts tonight. I'm so excited about it. Anyway, guys, make sure you come back and join us again tomorrow. Of course, the wonderful Chris Parker of 3C Films is going to be joining me on the show tomorrow. Looking forward to that. And of course, taking more of your comments and questions. It's going to be a great day tomorrow. That'll do it for me for now, guys. Thank you so much for being here. My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.